We've lived on this property for over 20 years, and it was an old peach orchard, and we cleared it all off, and my wife bought me a tiller, and which I still have. And we have had a garden plot out here where we have grown corn and beans and tomatoes and squash and melons of all kinds. When the kids were here, we would put up all that stuff. And but you know what? Just this year, I'm doing this this mulch. It is wood chip mulch. My friend Dory brings it and drops it off in these huge trucks. And the thing I like about it is you can just look at my garden and see that I don't have a weed problem here. There's my sweet potatoes growing right there, and my honeydew growing right there, my tomatoes, Cherokee purple, growing right there, and we have some Indian melons, Jakarta melons I think they're called, and they're growing right here. And so the idea is to lay down this mulch on this wire grass that we have, and one of the most depleted parts of our yard, to build up the soil. And so I'm making it kind of thick. You can see that I'm trying to get it about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 10 inches thick. And just to kill off the grass and to make the soil rich. Now, you don't plant in the mulch because it would not work very well. You would, there's nitrogen problems when you plant into the mulchy area. What you have to do is you have to clear out the mulch, plant in soil, and then bring the mulch back up to the plants. And you can see that I have no weed problem, okay? And you can see these tomatoes have been growing for quite a while, but no weeds. I like that. And so when I come over here to this part of my garden here, I've laid down the mulch. I had potatoes here, and they all got ready, and I harvested them and then just covered it back up with mulch. And here I just have a place where there's dirt, and I plant my kale, and pretty much it keeps the weed problem down. I got my beets, but look between, I've got the mulch laid down there so that, hey, I don't have a weed problem there. Now, the weeding I do is very slight, and it's easy to come and pull the weeds out by hand. And I've done the same thing over here with this part of the garden. And these are sweet potatoes for my daughter, and she planted them here. And she'll come back in the fall. She lives up in North Carolina, and she'll pick her sweet potatoes. But I've just laid down the mulch, and again, I don't have a weed problem. And for these tomatoes up here, no weed problem. And yet, if you were to, let's see, if I'll just come over here and see if we can do it here. When you get down into the dirt, and this is kind of thin here, I'm on a ridge here but if you get down into it, it is going to make this soil here eventually very nice. And that's the whole idea with this wood chip mulch. And Dory, when she brings it out, it's usually the kind that's been laying around for a while and it's had time to deteriorate, or what do you call that? You know, when that word fails me. But anyway, it has been a really good thing to have this wood chip mulch. And it looks like there's wood chip mulch in here. No, I had a little row of dirt. Okay, planted my spaghetti squash, and then brought the mulch up to it, and then it's grown and spread out over the mulch. And again, no weed problem. And and this right here, this dirt right here, this is where I bury all my compost, all my watermelon rinds and all the things that are organic that come out. I just bury it along here, so I'm not going to cover that up with mulch. And so you have kind of an idea of how I do this. There's more I could say on this, but I know this is getting a little long, so let me shut this one down and show you some muscadines. And I decided once I've got the mulch to go ahead and lay the mulch down around the stalks, around the vines, and that kind of keeps the weeds out, but it also preserves moisture. Now these roots have spread out far beyond what you're seeing right here, far beyond the mulch, but it's just another thing that I can do. Burn some of the debris when we cut a bunch of limbs and stuff like that. I don't have a chipper to break it down, or I would, but it'll dry out, and then I'll I have this little burn pile here. In our county, we can burn. And but you can see how I've done with this mulch. And Dory just came out and dropped another load for me. And I'll spread this out. I just spread it out manually, and because I want the thickness that I have. But you see the wiregrass, and that's why I make it thick. I make it thick so that this wiregrass can't grow up into it very well. And then occasionally I'll go through it, and if I see a little bit of wiregrass growing in it, I can pull it out, but it's not a big deal. Let's see if I can find some. There's one right there. Okay, so there's some wiregrass coming through. So I'll just go around, pull it out by the roots, cover it back up, and I just do that occasionally. And there's a little here and there, so you can see some right here. And so because this was dropped off just in the past month, some of this is coming up, but the whole idea is to turn this whole wiregrass lawn here into something on down the road that would be a good garden area. Now, will I be able to plant in this mulch? No. But it is so easy, to come in with a pitchfork, or I have a manure fork, and to move it out of the way, and then till a row, and then plant, like I did here. That's what I did here. I moved, mulch out of the way, tilled down the row, planted my seeds, and then once they started coming up, I moved the mulch back in a little bit. And you can see that I don't have much of a weed problem here, do I? And it helps for moisture retention, and so that's how it's going. My tomatoes are doing really well. I got a black light, and that helps me get these hornworm tomatoes off. I put a video out there on YouTube on how that light works. But it's very difficult to find those hornworms in the daytime. Oh my goodness, you can look for a long time and not see them, and come out the next day and half your plant is gone. So I got that black light that I got from Amazon, and as a result of doing that, I don't have, it's kind of not fun anymore because I can't find any more hornworms, and it was fun finding them, and now they're all gone. So that's a good thing. And this is just, I've been gardening for a long time. I'm just a novice at gardening, but it's fun to put seeds in the ground and let them grow. And it's also fun with this wood mulch thing to watch and see what happens to soil. I want to show you something here about mulch. This is my house and my office. Let's see, I am a retired chiropractor now, but this is where I had my office. And I used to have this mulch that I put out here. It was over here in this corner, and it was also right here. So over the years, what did that mulch do? I just want to show you what it does to the soil. So let me come in here and see if I can get this back. Mulch that's been sitting here for a long time. Okay, a long time. Okay, there we go. I mean, this keeps going down and down and down. Black, rich, loamy soil. I gotta get this camera here where you can see what I'm doing, but rich, black, loamy soil. And of course, it's all moist. So, since I'm retired, we're using this mulch bed now for other things. We've got some eggplant and some okra growing here. But, and look, the weeds. Okay, here's a weed. Oh, I already pulled them out. Yeah, there's a little bit of weed stuff here. Easy to get it up. Easy to get the weeds growing. And not a big deal. You'd come along with a little hoe and pretty much take care of that. Not a big deal. But wherever this mulch is, if it's laid down thick enough, see, and this is kind of thick, I'd say I'd say that's about 8-10 inches thick, and that's what happens. That's what happens to soil when you have mulch, this wood chip mulch, laying on it for a while. And again, the flowers here. We had nothing here but mulch for years and years and years. Vicky decided to plant some flowers, and she just planted these this spring, and they're going along pretty good. So I guess the idea that I'm trying to, to give you is that wood chip mulch. It is really an awesome way to prepare your soil. Now, this is our yard, and it's beautiful. We got our blueberry bushes. I got over there fig trees. They've been around forever. I keep cutting them back every year, but I get figs off of them. And it's just the grass, and the wire grass, and then having to water all the time was such a major thing. And so now I got my Japanese persimmon trees, and I've had as many as 5 or 6 who are in full production, and we've had persimmons coming out of our ears for years. But I need to, and when you, by the way, when you mulch a tree, you want to keep everything away from that tree right down to where it goes into the ground, okay? Don't be covering mulch right up to it, because that can do damage to the tree over time. So if you use mulch properly, and I'm just learning myself how to use it, then it's very beneficial. And so you get the idea how this works. And it's just going to be really nice to have this all situated such that I can come out and plant and have rich soil, water control, weed control. Yeah, I guess you get the idea. So I have some work to do to get that mulch spread out that Dory dumped today. And it's just been a beautiful day out here, nice and breezy, kind of cool. It's going to get hot. We'll have some summer rains, I hope. We've lacked for rain for quite a while, but my moisture content to where the mulch is has been pretty good. And so anyway, it's been fun talking to you, and hopefully this has been helpful.